It is 5:15, and I would just remind everyone to make sure your microphones are on and use them. It makes it easier for Lori to take care of the minutes later on. And
No, it's required because of live streaming.
and live streaming, so there, both.
And recording. Yeah.
Yes, exactly. So it is Thursday, April 18th. We are at the Marketing and Communications regular meeting in the City Hall Council chamber. And first order of business is to introduce our new board member, which is Alderman Bob Lass from the District 5. He is taking the place of Mark Weeks on this committee. Mark Weeks is still on council, but Bob is new to our council, so we welcome him. And I don't know if everybody wants to just go around and give your name quick, so he's got a name to go with a face for those he doesn't know.
Rick Bjorklund.
Scott Steele.
Sarah Sturm.
Hi, Sarah.
Hallie Saval.
Hey.
LaDonna Furmanek.
I know you.
Nathan Meyer.
I know you. I'm Bob Lass, retired sailor.
John Greenwood.
Lori Olaf.
Okay,
Here we go.
I think usually Dan Wendorf is here, and Tammy Marachek is usually here too, so that's the general committee that shows up. Okay, next order of business is the minutes, and if you note, Lori sent revised minutes adding Dan Wendorf and Sarah Sturm to the people who were present at the last meeting, so I would entertain a motion to approve the minutes from the last meeting,
I will entertain a motion to
or the revised minutes.
approve the revised minutes from the March 21st, 2024 meeting.
Yeah. Okay, motion's been made and seconded. Any discussion?
Thank you for revising them.
All right. Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay. And the next item on the agenda is an update on the food truck-a-palooza and some discussion on multiple items that go along with that. So I'm going to kind of let Hallie take over for a little bit, and we'll jump in where we need to and go from there.
So you guys have the revenue and expense report on there. I do have 2 new sponsorships from the Rotary and Optimus for $500 each, along with a donation of the beer trailer from Zastro's as well. So that's been really good. It's good progress. The mayor did approve a $300 budget to an obstacle course for a bounce house from an Irma-based company from Float House Party Rentals. They're a new business in the area. Let's see. Jennifer is coming up with the placement and schedule for the photo news ads. So they're going to be distributed between Rhinelander, Tomahawk, Stevens Point, Marshfield, Wausau, and Anago area. And she's coming up with a plan for that I should have in the next few days. I think it's going to be 3x5 or 3x4. I think it's right about that size. But it looks good. It's the same ad that we're using for that Roadmap magazine that we discussed last month.
Okay.
Let's see. And then the only other thing is a discussion on how many banners we should get from Premier for the logos. The price is going to depend on the size and with fitting the sponsors on it. I have Photo News, WDEZ, WJMT, Wave, Marketing and Communications. Did we want to use the Merrill logo for that?
Yes.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. Incredible Bank, and then the Tourism Commission. So I'm not sure what logo we would use for that. If we want to use the Merrill Area Chamber of Commerce, or I don't know where that fits in.
Yeah, I'm not sure if the tourism has its own specific. Do you know anything, Rod, if they do or not? A logo?
When I do the things, when I do the like advertising with the tourism stuff, I'm using the city logo at the top, but then using the chamber logo with it as well, just because it's marketing and or commerce and tourism center, visitor center. But
Okay.
So I would say the chamber logo then would be your best bet.
Okay. Just wanted to check if you could send that to me.
Yep.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
I guess I would suggest finding out, just getting an idea how many, I don't know where these, I'm assuming these are like the big Coke type banners that you see for most festivities.
Yeah, I'm thinking 4x5s and then hanging them from the tents. And I have 3 tents, so I was thinking 3 of them would be my idea.
Okay.
But it would just depend on the price. I know I'm getting banners from Incredible Bank, so I don't need to make them separately because they are the premier sponsor and they donated $2,000 for the sponsorship. So they get their own, but she's letting us use hers, so we don't need to do those.
Okay. Okay. And how many tents do we have?
3.
3.
Allie, what are you doing down on like 64 Memorial and Sales, the entrances as far as signage?
I didn't have anything for that. That is something we can do.
I think that would
That was what I was kind of
be
thinking.
good to have at least the entrance off of Memorial and possibly 6th Street marked,
Okay.
and then 2 signs down on Sales and Main Street and Memorial and Main Street.
Okay.
And I think the rodeo would let us use their boards to hang them on or to place them on.
Okay.
They have in the past for other events, so.
Okay, so just get banners of the Food Truckapalooza logo for those?
Yeah, I'll see what size those boards are first and get that information to you.
Okay.
Yeah, I would suggest maybe finding out how much they cost, and I think we're sitting pretty good with our budget.
We have a profit right now.
I'm about to say, it's looking like we got a pretty decent
I'm
profit right
happy.
now, so.
I'm very, very happy with the way that the revenue and expense report is looking. We're looking at being ahead. I think my expenses were right around $6,900 and my revenue right now, this is updated from that, whereas at 7512, and that's not including the vendor fees at all.
Okay. Okay.
So we're sitting pretty good.
And that does not include the ARPA money then?
Nope, that has nothing to do with the ARPA money either. So I didn't know if that's a discussion we have to have about using the ARPA money this year and pushing.
Let's, since we haven't really touched on that yet, let's just see where we sit with this. I don't know if we want to make a limitation on how much we want to add for these banners for now and before we worry about going into it any further. I don't know. Does anybody have an idea how much those banners typically run to have them made?
Well, it depends on the size, but we recently did an event at college, the university, and it was a 6-foot by 3-foot banner, and it was about $250.
Okay.
That was full color.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So if we anticipate 600 maybe, that would probably come close to getting us 3. Kind of start from there.
If they're the same ones, yeah, your price goes down. If you're doing 3 different ones, you gotta go with $250 a piece.
Yeah. Why don't you just look into it and then we can kind of follow up with.
In the back of my mind, I also want to ask the owner if he'd be willing to sponsor them. He's just not in town yet.
The owner of the company from Premier?
The company from Premier.
Okay.
Even if he would sponsor some of it would be great.
Does anyone have any specific suggestions or recommendations that they want to?
I think at this point in time, getting the 3 signs for the tent is a great idea. And I also do like Rod's idea of getting some of the signs for the streets to help us, because if we get these signs, that helps us for future Food Truckapaloozas. I mean, it's an investment in not just this year's, but future years worth of what we're doing. And then they should last 5, maybe 10 years, you would think, if the quality is good enough. So.
Okay.
Well, that depends if you put the sponsors' names on it, if they're going to sponsor again next year. So you got to kind of, you have the areas separated where you could do a cover sponsor. Maybe just set a limit of $1,000 for the signs.
Yeah. I think
Especially
that
if we can
sounds
use them for
reasonable.
more years to come here.
Yeah, and if,
Should we make a motion for that?
yeah, I would think so, and then if it's more than that, we can discuss it through the mayor.
I would also, for anything, if you're going to want to get years out of it, we'll take the 2024 off the logo.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I would,
Aren't we restricted to sponsors then? Is this sign able to change somehow?
The signs for underneath the tents would be one year only. The ones that are by the road, if we don't put the sponsorships on them and just do a Food Truckapalooza sign.
with entrances
able
like
to
this
use them.
way, that
Okay.
way, whatever.
Okay.
So yeah.
I gotcha.
So I guess the motion to make would be authorize approval of signage up to $1,000, with it coming back if it goes over that? Is that?
You don't have a whole lot of time to come back here.
Yeah, it's not a lot of time to
Yeah,
come
I
back,
realize
but we
that there's
can
not a
just-
lot of time to come back, so.
I mean, the mayor approved the bounce house, he can approve anything that might be a little bit more than $1,000 if need be.
Yeah.
But just keep us posted on what it is.
Okay.
Okay, so is your motion to spend up to $1,000 for banners for Food Truckapalooza? Is that what you're saying?
I guess so, yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, I mean,
I will second that motion. Any further discussion on that? Okay, hearing none, all in favor say aye.
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 Alderman Last, just so you're clear, there's only 3 people voting. It'd be you and Nate and
Yep.
LaDonna.
And unless there's any questions for me, that's really all I have for my update and progress report.
Did you have any information as far as how many teams they have signed up for the cornhole stuff right now?
Right now, we have 14 teams, so we'll cap at 40. He's happy with having 14 right now. That's still a good chunk of people, and a lot of people sign up day of or right up to the event.
Okay. And that's something that was on a Facebook post about
Yep.
having that available too?
Yes.
Okay.
I have a question. Was this event open to all the local businesses in town? I mean, was it sent out saying, hey, do you want to set up a booth or anything like that?
Not for booths, no. I did not send that out. I have advertising on Facebook saying you can sign up for a craft and vendor booth.
Okay.
I've posted that on City of Merrill site and our Food Truckapalooza page.
Okay.
So yes.
Did the chamber send anything out saying, hey, anybody interested in?
Yes, we did.
You did? To all the businesses or just chamber members?
Chamber members.
Okay.
And then I think, Hallie, you had sent vendor letters to various vendors at craft
Various,
shows or
yeah.
whatever. Okay.
Can businesses still sign up?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay. Any other questions on the Food Truckapalooza?
Sorry. I did do a deadline for the craft and vendor show of May 1st, just so I have 2 weeks to get that organized.
Okay. Any other questions on that portion of? Okay, then we will move on to the next item on the agenda, which is ARPA funding from the Common Council. At the last council meeting, which was on, not the last council, but the April 9th council meeting, it was approved there was $9,999.76 left of ARPA funding. And that was approved to be set aside into a fund for future Food Truckapalooza to try and keep the event going, just in case the sponsorship should dwindle at any point, but just as a backup funding for that for future events. So that was approved by the council. So that will be a
With only
nice.
2 years to use it, right? I think it was.
Yeah, I think that has to be
It has to get used by, I think.
September 26th or 2026, I believe it was.
Rod, was it 2025 or 2026?
2026, but I guess what I would do is use it for this year's funding, and whatever money that you raise, it's all in one pot, but we need to spend it by a certain date. Let's spend it, and then whatever money we raise, we have for next year, plus whatever remains out of the $9,900.
Flip-flop it.
That would be my recommendation, but I guess that's for discussion. That's why it's on the item here.
And I would agree with that. So, I mean, if we got to spend it, let's get that out of the way, and then we've got money
Well,
for 2 or 3 years.
If we spend it just on this project, and we throw it in the big pot, then are those funds open to other uses in the future or restricted to just this?
Well, right now, the ARPA funds, that $9,900 is earmarked for marketing for this event for the next 2 years.
Okay.
What I'm saying is, let's use it for this year's event. The money that we raise this year will be seed money for next year, plus if there's $1,500 left out of that $9,900, that'll be for next year. And that was kind of the...
I get it, but if this fails 2 years from now, and the money that's left over, I mean, it's not just going to go back in the general fund, it'll stay with this committee to promote events, other events, not just this.
I would say correct on that one, because all
That's
this
my
money
question.
is coming from the franchise fee, cable franchise fees that we get from
Okay.
Spectrum Communications.
Well, no, this money's being raised,
Well, that too, yeah.
is being raised for this event, but to your point, if something happens where we see it's not sustainable and there's $2,000 left in it, it can be earmarked for marketing or
Okay.
whatever.
All right.
What I'm saying is let's call that money, the ARPA funds, what we're using this year, and we'll spend it that way. We'll come out of
Gotcha.
our accounts that way.
Correct. I would agree with that. Do you want to, do we need?
I'm sure
We
that
already did it.
Emily takes care of making sure that that comes out of the proper funds when she's doing that. So we'll just make sure that she's aware of it, but that should be no big deal for her.
Perfect.
Okay, the next item, future consideration of GEM grants and tourism grants. I guess the first one, Hallie, did you find out, did we get the tourism grant for this last year? We missed the deadline or something, or?
I was told that the deadline is, I don't want to say irrelevant, but not
Applicable?
applicable to us. I can fill it out and they will pay us after the fact.
Okay.
I will be asking for $1,000. I do need to talk with them and see what, because I know we have to use it for advertising. I just don't know what the radius is on how far out we have to go,
I didn't know that there was a limit.
if there is one.
There's kind of a,
I just, like, I know that I can't use it to advertise in Merrill.
yeah, I know for the fair, what's happened is they've asked for us, we've said this is our radius, and they say, we'll just go a little bit farther if you can with that too, and
Okay.
give the money out, but that's what they've done for the fair, so I don't know.
So
Yeah,
Rhineland or Anago Stevens Point would be,
Sarah, you're
I've honestly only ever been to a couple of the tourism meetings, and
Okay.
one of them is the only one I've ever been to where they talked about those GEM grants, so I'm
Okay.
not much help either.
would I talk to Dan then about that?
Dan or Clyde, I think, would know
Okay.
best.
And then the GEM grant, there were different timelines for that, right? You said that one is applicable 4 times a year we can
Four
apply?
times a year. My goal is to have this grant written and sent in by August 1st, just to get this out of the way. It is a long process, but they do have people that will help me every step of the way, and Rod also volunteered his expertise to help me as well.
In his free time?
Yeah.
Thanks, Rod.
wait, Rod has free time?
The
All right.
GEM grant is from,
Wisconsin, the state of
State of
Wisconsin, for
Wisconsin?
tourism.
Okay. Travel Wisconsin.
Travel Wisconsin,
okay.
but it's,
They used to have Jeff Anderson. He recently is moving on to a different position, but I know they have a lot of people that are very good at helping and assisting when it comes to writing those GEM grants. That's what their job is for.
Are there certain dollar values associated with that, or you can request whatever
It
amount?
looked like you had to match like 25%, so if you're asking for 7,500, you had to have 2,500 in your account as it
Okay,
was. And
okay,
with these ARPA funds, it's going to be beneficial for us to have, so I
Okay.
can ask for a little bit more. We'll have to decide on what we're going to ask for in the future.
okay, okay. All right, that sounds good. Any other questions for Hallie on any of the other Food Truckapalooza? Okay, the next item on the agenda is some general marketing update information. And I guess the first one that I will bring up, and I'm kind of springing it on Nathan, but do you have any update about some of the videos that you and Draco have been working on for those little 15-second?
Yeah, we've gotten a few done over since our last meeting. I know Draco did a very nice one about all the friendly faces that you can find in Merrill. So, nice upbeat kind of video. So it's up on our City of Merrill YouTube page if you want to go check out what is getting shown out there. And obviously anything that is on that YouTube page is more than usable to help promote the City of Merrill in any way, shape, or form that we can. So the Chamber is more than welcome to have any of those videos. I can even give you MP4 files of those if you would like those. Just let me know. Other than that, this is our busiest time of this. Next 6 weeks is our busiest time of the year, so I don't know how many more we're gonna get done before spring is officially over. But once I gotta think of the date, May 25th, I think, is the high school graduation. That's where everything comes to a screeching halt for us, and we're gonna have time available to get a lot of marketing videos done, hopefully. So. That is kind of what I can say right now about where we're at.
And then Midwest Communications is using some of those videos on some of their spots.
As we make them available, I believe Cameo is doing that. I know we kind of put it up there, give it to Hallie, and Hallie kind of talks with Cameo
Okay.
about that. So that's kind of how our process has been, basically. Once everyone's kind of looked at it, seen it, said, yeah, this looks decent, among myself, Hallie, and Draco, and Mayor Haas, we've been kind of saying, yep, let's go, let's do this. And obviously we've been sending it to you, LaDonna, as we can, and getting some feedback. We sent some to Mr. Wykes as well. We will be sending some to Mr. Last now that he has joined our committee. And any feedback that we get, any ideas that we get, will be considered and thought through. So
Could you include me on that distribution list?
I could.
Please do.
I was going to say, too, I'm sure you will be video recording a great deal of the graduation stuff, but make sure we get a little bit of that to include for featuring our schools and our things like that.
Oh yeah, that's one of my busiest production days. So the graduation can get utilized. Any other suggestions? Please just email me. Any of the emails that anyone has of mine is more than welcome to get emailed for ideas. So
Okay. One of the other things that we did, we had between Sarah and Scott, they had pointed out some individual communities that were having some layoff issues, so we were able to contact Midwest Communications and expand some of our marketing into those zip code areas, and that was as simple as an email saying add these zip codes. So how impactful that will be, I don't know that we'll figure that out immediately, but it certainly was simple to bring them into the loop on that. So that was kind of good to experiment with.
I definitely do appreciate seeing those, that you guys are looking at those. So thank you very much at that.
Yeah, that was Sarah. And I think
Spend a lot of time on Facebook.
And
Well,
you paid for that, right?
what I think it does, though, is raises that we should all maybe just be a little bit more hypersensitive to some of the economic situations that are happening, not only in Wisconsin, but in Minnesota, Illinois, and, even, Michigan and Iowa, because as some of these towns are getting hit, I know that there's most likely going to be some steel mill fallout in the next year or so, and so things like that. I think now, I know now I'm more aware of it because of Sarah, so maybe we could all say, hey, I heard this. We can check into it, make sure, do our due diligence on it, and if it's valid, because these towns are being devastated by this, and people are being upended. And, if we can offer them a place with a small town charm and with everything we have to offer that's in an area that they're comfortable with and in an environment they're comfortable with, we should be there to try to help.
Yeah.
And I can't disagree with that.
Yeah. And look at Rapids with the mill closure. Should be down there at all the job fairs, and here's what Merrill has to offer.
Familiar with that.
Yep.
Yeah. Well,
Wisconsin Rapids?
Yep, Wisconsin Rapids had a big mill closure. Just drove by it today, empty.
It's just a quick way to, add them into the mix too, without specifically saying, "Hey, sorry to hear," kind of
just
thing.
suddenly see our
Just a very. One of the other things that came across that Sarah also sent to us was, let's see if I can get this, through Travel Wisconsin. There is a WTMJ radio in Milwaukee. There is a tourism secretary, Ann Sayers, who was focusing just a little bit on the Concertina Festival at Les and Jim's that's coming up. So to spotlight that out of the blue for Merrill, I'm assuming it's a station that people who would go to Concertina festivals would probably be listening to. So that was a nice little freebie plug that got thrown into the mix. And I think, let's see, the one other thing I know, at the Lincoln Economic Development, Hallie and I had met a gal from Synergy, Angel. And we were talking to her a little bit, because that was one thing that I noticed is, when you come to our city website to find jobs, unless the city itself is hiring, that's all that's there. And at the time when you go to the chamber website, it would be only the chamber member businesses that were there. So it would be like, okay, if we have jobs in the community and we keep hearing businesses saying there are jobs in the community, we need employees, where do they go to find these jobs? And Angel had commented that she somehow has a common page for the area, I believe. So
what it is because I helped develop that site, what it is the state actually has a database of job openings throughout the entire state. And what Synergy was able to do was to work to modify it so that people can go in and just put in an area or a job in an area, and the jobs in this central region only will be the only jobs that will show up, and then they can even filter it down even more. The key to that is the employers have to register with the state to get on that site. If they don't register to get on that site, then they won't show up. So there is some onus on businesses to get their name on that site, but it's a pretty powerful tool.
Okay.
Scott, can we put a link of that of that on our page?
Yeah, I think that was.
Do we have anybody that goes to job fairs?
They actually just had a high school job fair this morning. The high school did, and it was well attended by Merrill employees, as well as obvious schools like universities, Marine, military, obviously.
Yep.
There's a lot of people there, though.
I was thinking.
But I mean, like outwards,
Yeah.
it would probably be up to each individual company that would go. I would imagine a lot of them have HR resources that go to them, but.
I was thinking other cities, Milwaukee, Chicago, head down there to job fairs with piles of flash drives highlighting Merrill and what jobs are available. Here's the companies looking, here's our real estate, here's what our school looks like. I think that's the simplest thing. They could put it on a chain around their neck and they're not throwing paper away. I've been thinking about that all last night. Finally got it off my chest.
I don't know. I don't know how many job fairs like that, I don't know. I haven't been.
Well, there's quite a few opportunities with job fairs, primarily through the universities. A lot of the universities have them. Comes down to cost. You do have to pay to attend these job fairs, and then staffing. You have to have people that staff them,
And
then
swag.
you have
And swag.
and swag. Yeah, you got to have the swag, and then the expenses. So it is a good idea.
TAP class. Chicago.
And it is something that, we would have to look at from an expense perspective. But as we're looking at, other ways to get money or to raise money, that could be something to do. That may be something that maybe we coordinate a little bit tighter with you and Clyde on.
Yeah, I was
And
gonna
I mean,
say.
one of the goals of the chamber and the tourism centered part of it, and before you were on the committee, I don't know if you knew this, but we did go to 5 different travel shows, sports shows this past year, and our goal is to go to about 7 next year. But obviously the goal for that then is get people to visit here, and then hopefully you have that halo effect where they love what they're seeing, they love the small town charm, and then they hopefully move in and stay here. So, but that would be a good opportunity to try out those things as well.
Yeah.
So,
We could put
Military
it.
retirees too. TAP class down in Chicago.
Yeah, I mean, we could put I would recommend a test with a 1 or 2, and then see what happens. You could even go maybe not go as far as down to the Madison or the Milwaukee. Although you might get some interest because of the Chicago office with Church Mutual to get some corporate sponsorship down there. But Stevens Point has big job fairs, things like that. That's a little closer. And a lot of the students, they have a high percentage of the students, like almost 70% of the students stay in the area after they graduate, and we're considered the area. So, they might be somewhere that we put our toe in the water with and see how it works.
Yeah, and a lot of that too, Bob, is, our primary focus for this committee is marketing the city of Merrill, specific jobs, things like that. That becomes more of the chamber and the business aspects of it. But that's where having that working relationship really pays off to kind of work
Is
together
there
on some
somebody
of
from the
these.
county here too?
No,
No.
No.
no. But that's
They're
ideas.
taking their own approach as far as marketing. They're more focused on tourism and sales tax than building a tax base.
Okay.
Okay, so that, unless anybody else has anything to contribute about the general marketing ideas, those are some of the things that we just kind of been spontaneously throwing into the mix as we go.
I know when we get to the Midwest Communications, we're getting up to a point where we're going to want to really take a good look at the results and see if we want to make some tweaks. So we've been letting things run, which you need to do with a campaign, especially at the dollar amount we're investing. It takes a little longer to build momentum, but I think we're almost a year into it now, if not 9 months.
6 months, I think.
That's it? 6 months?
Yeah.
Yeah, we're only at like the 6-month mark. We
Yeah,
started
we've been
in-
talking about it for a while before we got to that
Okay.
point.
Wasn't
Well,
it
we
like-
are getting to, I would recommend at 9 months that we take a look at it and say, do we need to make some tweaks? Because we should have some pretty good results. It gets us through a summer, gets to like that, because like anything, you want to make sure that, if a wording or image or something like that is doing more than others, you do want to, make tweaks.
Okay. All right. I think we'll talk about that a little bit more when we get back down to that part of the agenda with their report. Next one, Chamber Update and Tourism Annual Report. The tourism report is included in here, and that was what Clyde had presented to council. And I just wanted to highlight a little bit in there, like on page 9 and 10 in the packet, basically saying that the room tax collected in the year has increased, and that, I think that that's a good, it says it's a good indication of increased overnight stays in Merrill, and however, it'll be down because of the lack of snow this last year. But I think that also reflects on, the marketing committee as well as the chamber with their trade shows and things. I think the collaboration is really starting to pick up some traction, and I'm happy to see that. I think that that's good to be able to get that out there. So, and then Sarah, you had something about some giveaways and newsletters or something that we had talked about? At the
Yeah, so at each of the travel shows that we did go to, we had the entry slips for them to win a getaway giveaway from the Merrill area. So the 3 main travel shows that we went to, 3, 4, we had a prize package for Merrill that someone could win, family could win. And on those entry slips, we did ask if they were interested in being entered or signed up, I guess is the word I'm blanking, for like a quarterly travel visitor newsletter. I haven't been able to have time to get that created and formed, but I would say
Rod
there
has
was,
time.
Yeah. Oh, Rod. But that's on my goal to-do list, is to be able to send out about a quarterly visitor newsletter then for, I mean, really anyone that way. It doesn't have to be just chamber members, and obviously then it can be all throughout whoever would want to be
Sure, that
getting
could be
information.
put on your website and our website,
Yeah,
something like
yeah.
that too as well.
So that's in the works when I have my free time.
All
But
right.
yeah, so I also just wanted to mention too, the chamber is holding an HR summit on May 15th, and it's free, open to the public, doesn't just have to be chamber members. So it's a great opportunity for small businesses, especially that don't have HR backgrounds, to attend this. And it's 8 o'clock-ish registration, and then till 12:30, I think. So just a half a day. We do have online registration for this available on the chamber website, but just something else we're providing for the community.
What day was that?
May 15th.
Where's that at?
That's a Wednesday at Park City Credit Union in their community room.
I would suggest part of that to be informing businesses about how to sign up for that, whatever you were talking about, Scott, with Angel. And
yes.
you know,
Angel is a big component of this. She's
to-
actually helping us plan it.
Okay, I
and
was
she's
gonna
going to be a
say, so that
speaker. So, yeah. And,
businesses know they
we
can-
have, who else? I don't remember. I will be speaking on how you can use the chamber website and the chamber master and whatnot to post jobs and things like that. But yes, on my segment too, I can mention that Job
Yeah.
Center of Wisconsin
Yeah,
page
that
as
way-
well.
that would be good.
If Angel doesn't come up with it, but yes, yep. So just another thing that the community should be aware about.
Okay, thank you. All right. Item number 4, consider approving the shared photo library with the Chamber of Commerce. I guess the first question is logistics, and I don't know, Nathan, do you have any idea of the logistics to doing something like that? Is it a major deal
So,
or a simple thing? Or?
It can be as simple and it can be as complicated as we would like to make it, essentially. The easiest idea that came to my mind, because it's something that we've actually done at the school district through with our media productions teams, is just using a Google Drive. Probably because I would say a photo would not be the only thing I would like to see in that. I think some videos would be great, and it's all stuff then that Draco and I and the Media Lab can then steal from and create our adverts from. If done properly, we could easily make some stuff like that happen. So I think it's a great resource. I talked with Dustin a little bit about it, Dustin Brown, our IT manager here at the city, and he is open to it. I just have not had a chance to meet with him to kind of get the ball rolling on that. So.
Okay. Okay. And I don't know if there would be any concerns with any type of proprietary. That's
what I
my
was gonna
photo.
raise.
This is, so I don't
It
know.
would come down to, I think, the way I had kind of pictured it, envisioned it, basically was it would basically come down to just our aldermen, our mayor, some of our city administrators, maybe even people that are on this board here. If Scott were at an event taking photos and he said, "Yep, here, gave this." To our mayor, and then that gets put into the library. Anyone at the chamber, obviously, if they're willing to give that up. I don't think we'd open it up to the public to give that out unless they're willing to sign consent forms. And I don't want to go through all that paperwork with Tom Hayden. I love Tom, but I don't want to go through that.
Right, and we don't want to be paying for the photos either.
Correct. So
I would just be careful looking retro, that the images that we do have don't have licenses attached to them. I know we have a very good photographer in town, Joseph Frederick. I know he donates some of his photos, but he also, that's part of the way he makes money. We want to make sure that people that we do have licenses with are.
Funny
there.
enough, his daughter right now is in our media productions club right now. So I think right now we'll be just fine. But at the same time, I completely agree, and that's where.
And one thing that we've done with Joseph Frederick, and we are in the process of redoing our website, so obviously I've reached out to a handful of different photographers in the area, but we've just given them a small amount, like Tina Scott and us have coordinated, and we just give them some chamber bucks. But he's willing, as long as his name is getting used as credit. He's been very gracious. Anything he can do to promote Merrill, he's been gracious and wonderful to work with. So.
And that is fine as long as we can,
Yeah, and I think as far as getting pictures from the public, you just use a Dropbox, use a thumb drive, and you don't know what you're going to get quality-wise anyway. So as long as you're using a Dropbox or a thumb drive, things like that, you're at least trying to get better quality, and you're not going to get, riffraff things that you might not want.
Right. I would just rather at this point in time try to keep the amount that's coming in within a closed circle because of we just don't need to be like, well, that was my photo. You owe me money because you used it.
Right.
Yeah. I'm trying to be careful with how we do this, but trying to open it up because I know I can't make every event as the same as LaDonna. Yeah, that's kind of my thought. And Merrill has so many great events that I think we could help use to promote Merrill. And that's where my thought process runs into. I don't think I'm too crazy in that thought. I know I'm crazy, but.
So is there anything, I guess, do we need to look into this a little bit further and get more details before we
look into
come
this
back
a
to
little bit
it?
further? I know Dustin and I can work on this a little bit more. Maybe some help with from a few others, like Hallie, Mayor Haas, trying to figure out how to make this work the best that we possibly can, and
then just come back with something to this committee with it?
try to.
Okay. Anybody have any further comments on that, or? Okay, then the next one is to consider purchase of 2 additional city banners. When I'm saying city banners, I don't know if anyone has seen the ones that the chamber purchased that kind of stand upright. They're taller and narrower.
Vertical.
Yeah.
The vertical banners?
Yeah.
And
Okay.
Sarah, you guys said you had 3 of them? Yep. So we were thinking if the city bought 2, if they're different, if they're same, I don't know what, but that way, if we're at the same event, we can, still have them if they have need for more, if they're going in 2 directions and need to borrow some or whatever, but it just seemed like it might be a good thing for us to look into. So I guess that is a conversation that's up for discussion.
Would we want to utilize our yin yang type of approach on our banner so it would differentiate from what the chamber's doing?
Well, I think we would kind of like to keep them similar to our city stuff,
Right.
our logo and things like that, like the chamber did on the tops of
Yeah,
theirs
yeah.
or whatever.
Sarah's
and
done a
then-
good job of carrying the brand through, so thank you.
And then just, I guess so that they could be used all in one place if the opportunity presented itself would make sense.
And I'm happy to create more and have a repertoire kind of, because obviously I have a template that I'm using.
Yeah, maybe
but
if you want to work with something and with Haley back and forth, then we can bring something back to the.
Yep.
How-
I've run everything by him anyway. So.
How big are these vertical banners?
3 by 6, I would guess.
They're
Yeah, I would guess that's probably
taller
the
than
size.
me, so yeah.
So 3
Yeah.
foot by 6
Just had
foot.
them at the career fair.
Okay.
All 3 of them.
And how much did each of those cost? What'd you
I
say?
told you, like, was it 300 I said?
Yeah, and you
Ish.
said that was because you kind of did a rush job to have them for an event, wasn't it?
I don't
or-
think it was necessarily because
Okay.
it was
Oh,
a typical
okay. Okay.
flat price.
So 2 of them for 300?
2 for 300? And they're
Oh,
placed
2
just
for
at the
300
event?
each.
600.
So
Yeah.
it can be
600.
used at, like, you know, when you, community night out when you have a booth, or at this economic summit when you have a booth.
Okay.
If we are at 2 different
I'm sorry, I was thinking.
travel
stretch
shows.
Across the road as they came.
Yeah,
Yeah,
these
no,
are like
it-
the pull-up ones that
Hey,
you.
we've got something going on at the fairgrounds, you know?
No,
Something major,
This stemmed
something
from,
eye-popping.
we were at the summit for Lincoln County Economic Development, and you guys had the banners, and I didn't, and I had a fear of missing out because it could have definitely brought more attraction for obvious reasons. So I'm
I think a
hoping-
big banner right there at the Mobile Mart, Walmart
Yep.
intersection there that stretches, I know Highway Department probably wouldn't let us do it, but
Right.
something that pops that
I mean,
says, hey,
even-
we got stuff going on at the fairgrounds. you
Even
know,
when it's
come on
not
down
in
and
use,
see
if you
it.
put it at the front entrance over here, while it's just
Yeah.
traffic coming in and out inside the city hall,
Yeah.
I mean.
These are more interior banners. But
Yeah, they would blow
Gotcha.
over and get wrecked quite easily outside.
LaDonna has a better idea for the entrance to the city.
Nice.
Yep, she's got one
Right,
she's got
LaDonna.
planned on.
it depends which one you're talking about.
The electronic boards, not on the agenda.
Oh,
We'll
nice.
talk about that
That's a
later.
great idea. Yep, ever-changing.
There's some.
Lori said
Vote
it's
on
not
that.
on the agenda. Move on.
Okay, move on. Lori's going to get her
All
whip
right.
out. so.
Make a. Who would we be going through to get these, Sarah?
I just used Impact. Yeah, is that the name?
Sure.
Blanking now.
Could
But
we
yeah.
just have you guys bring something
I
back
can
to the
quote,
next
yeah.
meeting with some
Yep, I'll get
numbers
some
and we can
quotes
go
for
from
sure.
Yeah, I'd rather see some more numbers and
Yep.
stuff and see
Yeah,
what
let's
Totally.
do
our
that.
Yep.
We'll
potential is. So
do
I'll see if
that.
I can, if there's anyone local, I don't know, but I can.
maybe
look into that.
Premier. I
Yep.
don't. I
Yep,
realize.
yep. When I needed them more quick, so
That's fine.
I would like to try to use someone obviously local, so.
Keep the money local.
Yep.
Okay. Let's see. Item number 6, future events, Midwest Band Camp. Just a reminder, our brand camp, that's from Midwest Communications on May 2nd. I think anybody who could register for that has.
There's one I'm going to with Sarah, I think, is it the 1st? It's the day before brand camp that I'm going to with her as well.
The brand camp is
Awesome.
free too.
WAOW. Is mine.
Real
Is
quickly,
on.
Hallie can, if anyone else remembers, because right now my memory is blanking on the entire event itself. Can we get a recap of what that is for
Thank
our
you.
new alderman?
Thank you.
I could see the confusion.
Yep, so
Brand
brand
camp.
camp is learning about how to promote your brand. So with us rebranding here, I'm hoping to get some information, since it's a free event,
Okay.
to learn how to distribute more and better.
And if I remember correctly, any of the aldermen are able to come and.
Anybody, it's open to everybody.
And actually, marketing is part of our strategic plan at the library. That's coming up. We have a 2024-2028. I'm planning to attend the brand camp because part of our strategic plan is building awareness of the library and what it has to offer.
So,
Good. That sounds good.
That is where?
I believe in.
Is that a whole?
Was that
I think it's Stony
Schofield?
Creek. Is that at the Stony
Yeah.
Creek Hotel and?
There's a registration for it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where was that at? You want to
I
forward
can
that?
get you the link if
You
you
keep
want.
asking me to go online. You guys,
We've got flyers at the chamber.
I'm a retired IT specialist. I don't want to touch. No, I'm kidding. I'll look.
Okay.
It's been heavily advertised on radio also.
Yep.
I'm sorry, Rick, I didn't hear a word you said.
It's been heavily advertised on radio also.
Yeah.
It's that
Okay.
message, the measurement, and the media.
Blue Jays.
3Ms, yep.
Blue Jay Radio?
Midwest Communications Radio, I think more, because
Yeah,
it's their
so that'd be-
sponsored event.
WIFC.
Oh, IFC.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I listen to our
WBZ.
local radio, but that's okay.
All right.
Okay, so I don't know if anybody has any other thoughts on any future advertising things that Hallie should be including in some of our Facebook pages or things like that, but, just feel free to forward them to her. I guess the Memorial Day services that the city, that happen here is probably a good one to include for the end of May, but
Yep.
just don't want to forget anything. Okay, monthly reports. Hallie's reports are included in there besides the Food Truckapalooza, so I don't know if anyone has any questions or comments on any of the reports that they want to ask about, or if you have
Nope.
anything to elaborate on, Hallie.
I got nothing.
Yeah, I
Unless there's
had
questions.
all my questions answered by Hallie earlier, so thank you.
Okay. All right, then we will go to the Midwest Communications Report, and Scott, this is a 1-month report. I think the one that was in last month's meeting was like since we started
Right.
time period, so that can give you a little bit better picture of that. I guess the one thing that I would say about this one I noticed is it's got the addition of the Food Truckapalooza information in it, and you can see that impact of that, as far as how that's being measured versus everything else. It changed a lot of the dynamics on some of that stuff, so that was kind of interesting, I thought, to be able to pick that out of there.
Yeah, it's encouraging to know that if we have a great event, that it can make an impact.
Yeah, that people are following it. So,
I've got no questions on this report.
okay. And I have no further questions. And Bob, you'll probably look at it and say,
It's a little
what?
foreign, but it's not hard to understand.
So,
Make a motion to place the monthly reports on file.
okay.
Second.
Okay, motion's been made and seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All right, and I guess the next thing on here is public comment. Anyone with any public comment?
I do have public comment from the back here. Lori Anderson, Malm, City Clerk. I just want to remind everybody that starting March 1st, we moved over to a Civic Clerk platform. And so we're no longer sending out separate notices for agendas or packets. So you need to go onto the city website and subscribe to the meetings that you want to receive the notifications for. And if you don't have the instructions, let me know and I can email them to you. So,
It's really easy. It's nice.
yeah. That's it. Thank you.
These all go to the tablets?
They all go to our iPads.
Some of them.
Yeah. They're supposed to.
Some of them, not so much. Okay, then I think the next is to set the date and time of the next meeting, which is supposed to be Thursday, May 16th at
And that will not work.
5:15. That will not work.
That will not work because, and this is a major point, the camera won't even be here. Draco and I will both be at a conference. It is that day only for us, and we will be in Eau Claire. So if there are any suggestions on a different date, I would guess greatly appreciate that.
What's going on in Eau Claire?
Conference for
Cameras.
community media,
I guess we
essentially.
get another camera.
You won't have any operator whatsoever, so.
Let's see.
Volunteers.
I don't take volunteers for $3,000 cameras, I'm sorry.
Okay, so recommendations, we could do the 23rd of May.
Is
20,
that,
the 23rd or the 9th would work for me, so that depends on you, Mr. Lass. Which one would you
The
prefer?
9th is,
Both are Thursdays, but it'd be the week before or the week after.
let's see, May 9th is the Thursday after opening weekend of fishing, so I'm good.
I think the 23rd might be better as far as trying to get things pulled together. And then we'd also have the Food Truckapalooza kind of wrapped up. And
Okay, then
So everything's set for Food Truck Palooza?
I want to say yes.
so
I'm
it's-
just learning about it, so
So does the 23rd work for both of you? then?
23rd works for me, yes.
Okay.
Okay.
5:15 on the 23rd.
Okay.
Yep, 5:15 still works, so.
I will say that the buzz around the Food Truck Palooza is big. Everybody's heard of it, everybody's excited about it, so I'm hearing nothing but positive about it coming to Merrill. So good job, Haley.
Thank you.
Thank you for being flexible about that.
Just this once, Nathan.
You're going to hate me then for
Okay,
June.
at that, I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Okay, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. We're adjourned.